Hello, I'm going to do a quick VOD review of Alchemist versus LC, mostly on the perspective of LC because he asked. So let's get started. We have Banjo versus Pikachu, which you don't see super often. Alright, so I always say the start of the match is really important because it kind of, you know, it's like your opening move in chess. You want to make sure that it's a good move and that sets you up for success for the rest of the match. So let's take a look at what you do. So immediately you throw out a grenade, which is fine, or grenade, whatever it is. They're out there now. This grenade is controlling this middle space, which is great for you because your immediate goal in the game should be to establish stage control. So you want to end up in this area if you can. And LC, he started by full hop T-jolting because he's Pikachu, so he's already giving up that stage. You can just run and shield the T-jolt, take the stage control, or your grenade can, block it. So that's what I'd like to see you do. For some reason, LC side B's right under you, which is, I don't know why he did that. That's probably a misinput. You probably meant to T-jolt. But in this scenario, you can just kind of go over him. Take the stage control, go over the platform, something like that. You don't want to corner yourself, which is what you do here. You run off the platform, but even still, this is okay because LC probably realized he messed up, made a misinput, so he's stuck in shield. So you go in here, you have this little stage, which is fine. You could have stolen the stage control, but this is okay. This is an okay position to be in. I don't like this though. I don't know why you did this. So LC realized he messed up. He's in shield. He's probably thinking, okay, I'm uncomfortable right now. I don't want to be here. So he disengages and gives you space to take back stage control. But instead, you jump off stage, which is like the worst thing you can ever do. You never want to jump off stage, basically ever, if your opponent's on stage. No reason to do this. LC was giving you lots of space, inviting a play of footsies. But you didn't take it. You just gave him the entire stage so you can get this grenade. What does this really get you, right? If you think about it. The only thing this grenade at ledge is good for is getting yourself back on stage. But you were already on stage, so this really just puts you in a strictly worse position. There was absolutely zero reason to do this, and there's zero reason for LC to ever get hit by this. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Don't know why you did that. Probably refrain from doing that in the future. Okay, so grenade helped you get back onto stage, which is what it's good for. Blocks the T-jolt, but then you jump back off stage again. Then you do a Wonder Wing. Quite the mix-up. I mean, it worked. Definitely caught him off guard. I questioned if it was worth it. Maybe you realized you wanted stage and you just went for it. In general, I don't think this was like that great. So just another decision-making thing. You got like 20% off of it, and he actually kind of hit you out of it because it was at literally 0%. So definitely keep an eye out for your Wonder Wing usage. Already this kind of shows me that you're, like if I'm your opponent, that you're not very comfortable at ledge, right? Like if you're at ledge, it doesn't seem like you know how to take back stage control naturally, right? You run off stage, throw out a grenade, then you use a Wonder Wing. You got to use your movement. You got to use your shield. So this is good. Now you're playing stage. You throw out another grenade. And so again, I question what your goal is with this. Why are you putting this out here? Could be to start taking more stage control. You have a lot of stage to work with, but this is prime real estate, so maybe you want to take it. It's probably just going to get traded with the T-jolt, which is fine. But what's your goal here? So let's take a look what you do. So it looks like the idea is you're trying to zone each other out. He's sending out his T-jolts, and you want to retaliate with your neutral B, which is okay. You do it in the wrong direction, which is fine. Um, but this is what I don't like. You use your jump and jump off stage again. Once again, this is like horrible. I can't understate how not good this is to like do to yourself, and you'll get punished for it. In this case, you got hit by a T-jolt. Now you're at ledge, and ledge is a bad position to be in. It is a highly disadvantaged state. You do not want to be there if you can avoid it. Now you're getting hit with T-jolt, which is fine. It happens. Fight your way out a little bit. Okay, so this is not good. Okay, so you almost had it. So you do neutral get up shield, which is great. It's hard to punish. It's a 1-frame window. You jump, you fight your way out of the corner a little bit, which is good. This is more natural. You get hit by a T-jolt, which is okay. But then you get afraid. You get hit once and you run. You give up all the stage control you've just tried to gain back. Give it all up for nothing so you can send out a grenade. Then once again I ask, what is this grenade doing? Is this supposed to hit him? He's not really close to you. So is it going to help you get the stage control back? You were just there. You just ran away from that space. So what is this trying to do? I worry that the reason you're throwing it out there is that you hope your opponent will run into it for no reason. And that should never be a focal point of your game plan. You should never assume your opponent's going to mess up or run into something that they shouldn't. And there's no reason for LC to get hit by that, and there's really not a huge reason for him to approach right now. So you've just cornered yourself for something that probably won't hit, and the only thing it was good for is getting back a little bit of stage that you already had. So you throw out another grenade, not in the right direction, which I assume was a misinput, but that's okay. But once again, you like to be on this platform, and then whenever LC does anything to engage, you like to jump off stage. And once again, this is just a very disadvantageous position. You never want to be there if you can avoid it. A lot more grenade. It's pretty much all you're doing. I don't know, I just want to know why you're throwing them out. What do you want to happen with these grenades? Are you just trying to camp them out, stop the T-jolts? And LC's not really falling for it. He gets hit by maybe 1 or 2 grenades, but in general, he's just waiting for it and punishing it. So just be really careful. I think I've explained to you before that I think grenade is mostly good as a ledge trapping tool. I don't think it's all that great for a neutral tool because of what you have to give up for it, and there's really no reason for your opponent to get hit by it. It's a strong tool for sure, but the way you're using it, I don't think it's to your benefit, and I hope you can see why that is. Like here. Maybe this is a matchup unfamiliarity thing. You run all the way across stage. You're over here. You air dodge away. You run to the furthest corner of the stage, the most disadvantageous position on the entire stage, to throw a grenade, to catch it, and to throw it into a T-jolt. That got you no value for quite a bit that you had to give up for that. But it was okay. LC wasn't really committing to you at that point, so it's still kind of neutral. You do a kind of a raw Wonder Wing right there. Barely misses, and it just corners you again. I really want you to think more in terms of stage control and how you can use stage control to your advantage. The reason stage control is so good is because when you're in the corner, it limits your options, and then you can react to whatever your opponent does and punish them. And so you'll see this here. You corner yourself with that Wonder Wing. LC is approaching you. You have very few options. You can stay there and shield, and eventually get grabbed or hit, or you can jump, right, or roll in. But that's basically it, and it's really easy to cover all those things. So LC just calls out the jump because you're so limited in that position. He has all the agency to do whatever he wants to cover you, and he just hits you. So that was a neat mix-up. Once again, I think grenade at ledge is really good. Could have timed it maybe a bit better, but no big deal here. This is a pretty good mix-up. I will say that though it was good, maybe you didn't need to do that at that percent. Used up your Wonder Wing to hit him, and it didn't kill him because he was at like 50%. So maybe something more like a more traditional edge guard or ledge trap would have been better in this case, because you really haven't had him at the ledge at all. So that was kind of a guess. It was a mix-up because who expects that, right? It's a Banjo specific thing. But you have no data at this point about how LC reacts at the ledge. I would try to play much more reactively and just see what he does, right? Sit at roll distance about where you're at, and you can react to a lot of things he does. If he jumps, you can call that out. You can back air him, fair him. If he rolls, you can grab it on reaction. Neutral get up shield, it's a lot harder, but then you'll have that data for later, right? And then you can Wonder Wing that at a later time and actually kill him. But not that bad. You know, you get the hit. It's a mix-up. You won't be able to use it later probably because they'll be ready for it. So, but you get the interactions, so that's good at least. Once again, you should really be careful about your corner play. So you get hit, you roll into the corner, which is okay because rolling in sometimes can be bad too. You don't want to always give your opponent that. But here, your opponent commits over here. You don't really. What do you get from jumping in this direction, right? You have all the stage over here. LC's committed so hard over here that you can take back the stage control. You just seem to gravitate towards the ledge a lot, and it's really not a good position. So just like changing your thinking, like where do I want to go when I'm getting hit? Well, I don't want to say that either because lots of times it is good to go to ledge when you're getting hit. But you want to make your opponent respect the option of taking back center stage, right? Because that's what gives you space, right? If you don't make him respect you taking the center stage, he can be all up in your face at ledge all he wants because he knows you're never going to go past him. And then you kind of panic here in the corner a bit. Roll out. You swing, you spot dodge, you roll in, and you get hit because you're in corner. You don't have a lot of space to work with. So I really want you to see you spend a lot of time or take a lot more effort and a lot more mindfulness in trying to get into center stage and not do these panic options. A lot of special moves, which is okay. You do this little grenade thing. I assume you try to do the catch thing. You see the T-Drill, you try to run away, you get hit. That's all fine. It happens sometimes, but then you immediately just do it again. This grenade isn't covering anything. Then you go for the neutral B, and it's in the wrong direction. I assume it was going to be in the other direction, but even still, it's really slow. It's really small. He's just going to hit you. So it seems like you're just doing things to do them, right? Not really in reaction to what your opponent's trying to do here, which is just running at you, trying to hit you, right? You don't have time to set up this stuff. And you're giving up the ability to just ledge trap him normally, right? He's at ledge. This should be Christmas for you, right? This is how you kill him. He's at kill percent. There's no better time to secure the kill than when your opponent's at ledge. But you're instead in center stage setting up things that aren't going to help you. But you're still not dead, so that's good. Watch your down airs. No reason for him to get hit by that. Get dash attack. Okay, so this is the problem here, right? So this scenario is okay, right? It's not the most composed you could be at ledge, but you get out of it. You do a get up attack, which might have been buffered, or maybe you're trying to hit him. That's fine. You do a spot dodge panic, which is why I think it might have been buffered or something, or not intentional. And you get a roll away. So you got out of it somehow. You did like three options that didn't really work out, but did get you out. So now your opponent's completely cornered, right? This is where you pressure them, right? I need you to pressure in this scenario. This is how you get your kills. This is how you hit your opponent. Running away to the opposite side of the stage and throwing out a grenade will not hit your opponent, or it has no reason to. There's no reason why this is good. You give up stage, you give up your advantage state, you give up your corner pressure for a grenade that you hope your opponent will just run into. So don't want to be doing that. You want to actually pressure your opponent, you want to pressure their shield, want to call out their jump when they're in the corner, like LC did to you. This is only bad for you. But we're now in neutral. You give up even more space, so you can use your Regal Blaster. And it's just not working out for you. You get hit by T-Jolt because you really have no way to cover it when you're stuck in there. A lot of panic right now. I don't say I don't want to. I know I'm just describing your play, but in general, it's not like it's that bad. And LC's just shooting T-Jolt over here, right? He's doing his Pikachu thing. He's giving up stage to shoot some T-Jolts too. So he's giving you some space to do this stuff. But I'd like to see you chase him down, right? When he jumps up, T-Jolts up there, how are you going to counter that? This grenade's not going to counter it. Running to the other side of the stage isn't going to counter it. See a lot of options in succession. That might have supposed to have been a Wonder Wing. I think that's what that animation is, which makes sense. Once again, your opponent's in the corner. I want you to be ready to attack this, right? So you down tilt, which is great. Down tilt's a very strong move for Banjo. It covered that space, but you didn't have to give up anything for it. So you're still pressuring him. He rolls in right next to you, and he didn't roll behind you. So you still have all the pressure you need to exert on him. And what do? Right? I need you to like run and grab that. I need you to run in nair for his jump. I need you to pressure that. Instead, you run all the way away. And I assume that was to Wonder Wing his back air, which would have been good, but you didn't have Wonder Wing. So then you just set up another grenade, but you're stuck in corner now. So I really want you to evaluate your risk reward for what you're doing. Putting yourself in corner, I cannot emphasize enough, is very bad. It doesn't seem that way against a lot of players that don't know how to pressure very well, but against players that can, and LC definitely knows how to, you will lose most of the time. It's just a worse position to be in. Get caught with that. You didn't really have a reason to recover so high. He was kind of ready for it, right? He kind of baited it out, which is really good on his part. Could have gone low, could have air dodged a little lower, but now you know. So what's the first thing you do when you come down? You throw out a grenade. Throw out another grenade. Seems like you don't ever want to play without a grenade on the field, which I'll admit sometimes is okay. Sometimes it's really hard for a character to deal with grenade versus Pikachu versus LC. Not really. He just throws out like 3 T-Jolts and one's going to like take care of the grenade and he's just going to come in. So I feel like you should have figured this out by the time of the first stock that that grenade plan is not working. His T-Jolt just beats it. Use up 2 Wonder Ring quickly, which is always rough when you're down a stock, because you want to get this kill before you run out of Wonder Ring. That was great platform pressure. This is what I want to see you do so much more, right? This is a winning position. Your opponent's on the platform, and LC puts himself in this position so many times during this match, where he like fold hop T-Jolts and he ends up on this platform. He has to get off this platform. He has to, or he has to jump away. He has to corner himself. He has to do something. So instead of being across stage, setting up a grenade that he's not going to get hit by, get under him, right? Being under someone is incredible pressure. That's what platform pressure is. And so, of course, he wants to run off, steal stage control. You don't let him. And that's perfect. That's how you get your kills. And you actually have to put yourself in those positions in order to get those kills and those hits. I don't know what that was. The up B grenade. The grenade can't even hurt him because he's invincible. So there are mix-ups you can do when your opponent has invincibility. Once again, grenade is not one of them because it can't stop him. Not for a while. So something I'd like to see you do, I think this happened a couple times in this past couple interactions. You get this Nair. So this is all good. Baiting him out. You get this Nair and it clips him. You spot dodge. I don't know why you spot dodge there. Something to think about. If you like Nair behind Pikachu, you spot dodge. That's not stopping any punish. I assume you were trying to spot dodge like a move after, but back air's catching that anyway. Any aerial he's doing pretty much is catching that anyway because they're multi-hits. So no reason to spot dodge there. You have to be confident in where you're landing and what you're doing. You land that Nair, which ended up clipping him, I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look. Yeah, it clipped him anyway. You have to be... I recommend just shielding. Shielded, you could have reacted to that and start pressuring him, right? Because he got hit. You can bait out something instead. You spot dodge, panic, and then throw out a grenade for some reason, which just goes away instantly because it's Pikachu. You do it again, and once again, it gets you nothing. So this is part of the adaptation that I like to see. I mean, of course, you know, I think you should be using grenade less in general, but specifically in this matchup, you should realize that, well, you should probably have a different game plan going forward because the grenades are just getting hit by these T-Jolts. And so yeah, I think that was maybe the second or third time you got that landing there and just tried to immediately grab, but it like pops him too far. So I like to see like you get that landing there and you just start pressuring them instead, because you can't get a true follow-up. You know, you try to just dash grab immediately after, they'll probably spot dodge, roll away, but you can like dash dance and just wait for whatever they do. They jump, you on reaction hit it. If they roll in, you on reaction grab it. If they roll away, then you start to pressure them because they've rolled into the corner. Those are the forms of pressure that I need you to think about. That was good. Got the Wonder Wing off the grenade. I wasn't expecting that. And that's once again, we saw that earlier, where you, for some reason, roll in onto corner, which, as we've been saying, is bad. I mean, it's like a mix-up. Maybe you thought he was going to hit you, but let's take a look at this one more time. So you set up a grenade at ledge, which is generally good. You got hit by a T-Jolt, which is fine. It's just a little projectile. He's coming down, hits your grenade, and let's see. I know what happened here. So here you overcommitted. You went too far. You don't have to go this far to pressure someone at ledge. It's on the person that's in the corner to get back to center stage. But this is not the positioning you want to be in. You want to be back here if you can, usually. Maybe you were afraid of the T-Drill tower over there where you can just shield them. But this is too far. And now he's in range to actually, you know, swing past you because he's Pikachu. His moves are safe. So you panicked. You were too close. He went actually behind you, and then you roll in, which is okay. Then you jump, and he calls you out because now you're in corner, which is always bad. When running to stage, he calls the neutral get up, which is good by him. This is a small weight. I'd like to kind of see a little more weight at the ledge because he kind of is getting your rhythm. Because when someone calls your neutral get up that hard like that, you want to slow them down. You want to make them guess their timing. So take your time on ledge, you know. And LC is doing a really great job here of maintaining that corner pressure. You know, he doesn't overcommit. He realizes that he didn't have the timing to catch the roll. So he's maintaining the stage control. He's controlling all the space here. So you need to figure out how are you going to actually either hit him or steal stage control back. And what I don't want to see you do is give up stage control for nothing next. And you do that, which is not that bad. Maybe cover some overzealous approaching, which kind of happens. And you still stage control. Okay, so you got exactly what you wanted. I need you to pressure him right now in this scenario. You've put your opponent in corner. How are you going to push this to the next level? How are you actually going to convert this into an advantage state? Okay, that was good. You didn't necessarily run away this time and throw out a grenade. However, I'd like to see her stand your ground more. Jumping or being above your opponent is a form of disadvantage. And so you see this T-Drill coming and try to jump over it, but he's right here. He can cover you jumping very easily. This is what he wants. So I would recommend shielding this instead. When I say, you know, you want good stage control, that means on the ground in this middle position here. That's what that means. You know, up here, this is disadvantage, this is disadvantage. Everything around that space is a disadvantaged position if your opponent is underneath you. But he doesn't commit that hard. There's a little bit of panic going on from both sides. LC puts himself on the platform with T-Drill again. You start using your neutral B again. Honestly, from either of you, I'm not a huge fan of all this zoning. But either way, I think it's a lot better for Pikachu, especially in this matchup. So you need a way around the zoning. Get out of that. He calls out your jump, which is just good on his part. Make it back, which was good. So it already didn't work twice this time. You got him on platform. You tried to cover him coming down, which was good. But this time he wasn't falling for it again, which is a great adaptation on his part. He decides to give up a little bit of stage control for a little space to work with on the ground specifically. Note that he went to the ground, took space with shield. I need you to do that. I don't want you to jump off stage and grab ledge. I want you, if you're in that position and your opponent gives you space, jump to the ground and take space with shield. Right, run up shield. Inching forward with shield is the basic way that you regain stage control. And your opponent has to respect it. So that was great from LC. Tries to shield grab your Nair, gets jabbed, just fine. It's a good dash attack. Went for the hard call out with that down smash. It didn't work out, but not necessarily bad. That was a cute mix-up. Did you throw that grenade down? Yeah, that was cool. I've never seen that before. You throw it down to hit their shield. So this is something that I too am guilty of sometimes. Your opponent is on platform above you in shield. I assume you wanted to maybe catch him jumping or maybe shield poke him. But your up air I don't think kills even at this percent. So you think like, what were you really trying to get? Now you're on platform. You've given up your advantageous position. you want to be below the platform to pressure shield properly. Now you guys are both on like this even footing on this little platform, and frankly, Pikachu wins here. Pikachu's a better character. He gets the grab and the up throw, right? And you do this panic up smash, which I don't think is that bad, because it's reasonable to expect this could have hit him, but you do die for it. And I think the big takeaway there is you shouldn't have been on that platform in the first place, right? I don't think the up smash was the problem. I think it was the up air that was the problem. So think about more how can you, from this position, that was a great grenade, threatens him. How are you going to do what he does after this, right? And you have more time than you think. You don't have to punish the immediate jump, which is what you might have been trying to do. You don't have to immediately shield poke him. You can wait for what he does, because one way or another he has to get in the air to get down. And if you're in the air, like I said, you're in a disadvantageous position. If he jumps back, get ready to back air him, and then he dies, right? If he jumps over you, you can back air that too, or you can wait for the landing, bait out an aerial and whiff punish it. And yeah, jumping up there and getting on the platform is not a position you want to be on. And I am guilty of that too, especially with Falco. I get antsy to punish the immediate option out of shield when I'm platform pressuring, but you just got to be patient, and you can react to more than you expect. And that was great. You throw the grenade, a little bit of zoning, and then perfect spacing around the back air to punish him. So we're at an even game. You can see, and this is actually not that bad. I was saying before that jumping in the air, grenade, or up B and then grenade in the air is bad for this. And I also said, going to ledge when you don't have to is usually bad. But this is actually not that bad because you wait enough time that he's lost his invincibility already. And ledge does provide you some protection, and so does the grenade. So you have enough time to wait out his invincibility. So that's good. Because, being invincible is a very strong buff to have. So even that position is better than, having to take maybe a back air from Pikachu at 0, and then you could maybe just die. So that was okay. Right, I still don't like this position you put yourself in. It's just precarious. He could pressure this quite easily. But you managed to clip him with the Wonder Wing somehow. He's trying to pressure you, which is good on him. Spacing his back airs. This neutral B, I'm not a fan of. So grenade, I'm not a huge fan, but it's a strong tool. This is not good. This neutral B here, it's a zoning tool. It's slow, but zoning tools like that don't work in corner. You don't have enough space. You need space to work with your zoning tools. And you do it again, right? You're literally as far in the corner as you can go. He is pressuring you right now. You should not be thinking about how I'm going to hit him or how I can zone him out. You have no space to do that. You have no space to zone. By the definition of zoning, you need space. He is exerting a lot of pressure to you right now. And you need to learn to feel that pressure. He's so close to you right now. He rolls in. He almost catches the grab, but the spacing's a little off. You roll in, which is good. You get stage control back. I either would have put out that grenade faster or not at all. You could put it out immediately after jabbing him to control that space, but once he's already there, he can easily shield that. I would much would. It's almost like you did that on reaction to him up being into you like that. Yeah, so now he's already there. I would have loved to see you grab that or something or dash attack. It would have been much stronger, but it's just too slow. It's a tool that's not for that sort of scenario. It's not a burst option, really. I don't want to, beat a dead horse here. you double jump, grenade in the corner. When I said this is like the worst position to be in, I lied. This is the worst position to be in, right? Not only are you in corner, you are in the air above your opponent. Very disadvantageous. And for what? So you can get a grenade. Like your grenade's like on a platform above your opponent, right? It's not going to hit him. I would never do this if I were you. And it's on such a small timer. So you end up even getting hit by it. You panic out a corner with the Wonder Wing. This is not like a read. This is not pressure or anything. This is just you scrambling to get out a corner. And it's not that strong for that, right? So he gets the grab punish. I really want you to, a big takeaway from this game so far is just think about your positioning. Where should you be standing at all times? He is above you. You have to recognize in this position you are incredibly in advantage. This is a very advantageous position to be in. He has so many platforms to get through to get back down to the ground, and you are perfectly in the center of the stage. You can cover anything right now. But instead, you're busy trying to catch your grenade, then you run away, and you give up any opportunity to hit him from there. And that's what separates, the best players from the rest, right? That's what makes you good is the amount of, the frequency of winning interactions in a game and the number of interactions it takes to take the stock, right? And good players will capitalize on every advantage that they have to maximize the amount of interactions they win. So you can't give up scenarios like that, right? If you give up advantageous positions, you will not beat players. You won't beat good players because they will take advantage of those situations more than you. They win more interactions on average, and then they take more stocks. Another mix-up here. Desperate for the kill. Didn't work. Well, it actually did work. I assume that was because he didn't realize Neutral Get Up would get hit by that. Because it seems like that was reactable. Could have rolled past it. I want to see some more traditional ledge trapping. And then maybe on like the third or fourth rotation after hitting him back off stage, you can go for something like that. Once you've conditioned him. So this is something I think everyone's guilty of at some point. Overcommitting to the smash attack. Best advice I can give you is don't drag it out. Everyone goes for bad smash attack reads sometimes. I do it too. But as soon as you realize it's not going to work, let it go. He's not going to punish you. You're okay. You don't have to go for it. But there's no reason you should get hit by that. You have to understand. Once you're doing this, the only way he gets hit by this is if he severely messes up. If he runs into it. There's no reason he should. And like I said at the start of this, you should never have your game plan revolve around your opponent messing up. You want to make him choose options, condition him, and make everything you do unreactable. That was entirely reactable. No reason you should ever get hit by it. So just cut your losses, let it go, and get ready for the next punish. Oh, that's unfortunate. That was good on his part because he hasn't really gone for that this game. But you panic and air dodge in. It happens. He hits you. You should have hit the ground so you had more jumps to work with. But you just weren't ready for it. And that happens. Right? So it was a close one. You were in the lead at the end until you weren't. But either way, there's still lots of takeaways there other than just, that mistech at the end. A lot of things you could have capitalized on to have won that game. So let's move on to game 2. Sticking with same characters, I assume. Thinking about the Falcon, but one with Banjo, I guess. So this was your counter pick, I guess, which I don't know how this is for you. For Banjo, I mean. I know for Pikachu it's really good, because the flat stages are always really good for Pikachu, so I would normally not take a Pikachu here, but I don't know your character, and I don't know the matchup extremely well, so maybe you have your reasons. As for that. Okay, so this is good ledge trapping, Put the grenade out, which is good. He has to jump over it, because it's controlling all the space here. You just back air it, as you should. LC does the quick attack mix-up, which is very strong and hard to cover, so not your fault. Okay, and then here we go. The neutral B in the corner. We don't want to do that. Not at all. This is not good. You do get a hit, but you don't even really have space to work with it. When you're in corner, I want your main goal is getting out of the corner. Your goal should not be to hit your opponent with a Breagle Blaster combo. It's not the time and place. Okay, that was really good from LC. He already knows what you're trying to do. You roll away, you get out of there. What's the first thing you do? You roll away, you get out of there, you try to shoot a grenade out. And he's already on you. He already knows. He's adapted entirely. You have to be ready to counter-adapt and not go for that. He's ready for the Wonder Wing. Great from him. Now he's covering all his corner. Ooh, I don't know what that was. That might have tried to be like some sort of reverse grenade, maybe. Maybe you just did a complete misinput, but obviously you didn't mean to do that, so you have to pull it together. Do some. So you're off the Angel platform. You don't have to mix them up like this. Maybe you're trying to throw them off with a grenade, but that's totally reactable from how far up it is. So I don't think there's really much point in that. By the time you reach the ground, you're already out of invincibility. Actually, before you reach the ground, you're out of invincibility. When you die and you're on the Angel platform, you have a limited amount of time to have a buff that literally makes you invincible to put yourself in advantage state. Right? That should be your goal every time you lose a stock. How can I use this? Because we forget because it happens so often, happens every time you lose a stock, but being invincible is such a strong buff to have, and you need to take advantage of it. Good players take advantage of it, and your opponent has to respect it so hard you can almost always guarantee to put yourself in advantage state from the Angel platform if you're smart about it. But you ran out of invincibility before you even had a chance to interact with them, putting yourself in disadvantage even, because now you're in the corner in the air with no resources, no up B. You maybe used your jump, I don't know. But you have one jump, you jump into the corner again. You don't want to be there. You want to be center stage. Force your opponent into the corner, because you have that ability if you're invincible. But here now you're in the corner, and in the corner you don't have many options. You used your resources, you swing out, and you just shield grabs. The corner is not a good position. I don't want you to think like you're doing everything poorly, right? But it's just the positions you put yourself in, you're left with no good options, is what happens. So just be so careful about where you place yourself on the stage. This is a platform fighter. Positioning is everything. And that's one of the reasons why flat stages are so good for Pikachu. He gets those lightning loop combos, no platforms to mess him up. Really strong from LC. He's just unafraid of your grenades. You have to be smarter about where you place those. Grenade can be very strong, but you need to have the space, right? This is just like typical zoner things Zoners don't work when people are up in your face. And he has, a T-Jolt in front of him. He's running towards you. You can't play Banjo like you're playing your own game. You have to play around your opponent. Some zoners can play like however they want. Like if you're Snake, you can just pull out a grenade, whatever. Your opponent can't hit you. But Banjo's not that sort of zoner. He can be rushed down pretty easily. Corner, once again, I'll say generally most of the time it's good to just grab ledge from below. That's usually the safest option. It's the hardest one for your opponent to cover. Going above, I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself because earlier I said you want to make your opponent respect that, but it really is the highest reward for you, so it's the highest reward for your opponent to cover. So he just calls out your jump with the forward air. So it's the obvious things you want to avoid. You want to avoid doing the obvious option and the option that puts you in disadvantage immediately. That was a good Wonder Wing. Definitely caught him off guard. And I will say that you do have these really good moments of using your actual normal moves, right? That's like your F tilt's great, your down tilt's great, but I rarely see you do that. But every time you do it, it works, right? So more of that. I want to see more like dash back F tilt, dash back down tilt, stuff like that, than dash back grenade, right? Grenade, you should think of it as an advantage tool. When your opponent's at ledge, when your opponent's above you, you want to control space. And sometimes when you're off stage to control the ledge, it makes it harder to ledge trap you for sure. But in neutral, I'd use it a lot less in neutral, unless your opponent is giving you a ton of space to set it up. But LC is he's running you down right now, so you got to change your game plan. See, look, your F tilt is great. You get that space, you dash back, and you whiff punish. That was a good recovery. So you've been hit by fair a lot of times. Not even just like throughout the games, but like recently you've been hit by fair a lot. So you should be really careful about your jumping. He's just throwing out fairs because he knows you're going to grenade and you're going to jump. And he's already there covering it. So now you should definitely try a different option. Wait for the fair and then roll in. Or just roll in, right? But you jumped again actually right there, right? He jumps. Then you drop shield. I think you try to jump. And he catches you with the nair. So the next mix up from there to adapt is start rolling in instead. If they're going to cover jump, just start rolling in. You jump again. You roll in. See, it worked. I need you to recognize that sooner. When you get faired a lot, when you're getting your jump's getting called out a lot, you gotta mix it up. That's good. I think that time you tried to call your jump again, but you waited and shield this time and just punished it. So here the adaptation's coming, which is really good to see. Yeah, so this stuff just looks really uncomfortable. He's zoning you out. So in your mind, you're thinking, I have to zone him back. I'm the zoner, not Pikachu. But frankly, Pikachu's a better zoner in this matchup. So you're throwing out your stuff, but it's slower, it's worse, and he finds his way in, right? And this has been a theme throughout the entire set. You can't outzone this guy. You can't outzone Pikachu in this matchup, which sucks, but it's the nature of it. Pikachu's a really good character. And you got to respect it. It's not worth trying to like ham fist your way in to outzone him when it's just not your options don't beat it. That was really good. That was really good. So you overcommits there, you get that, you dash back, and I don't know if that was some sort of reaction or read, but it was great. And this is winnable. This is winnable. Okay, so this is scary. So this is, we're talking about advantageous and disadvantageous spots. This is pretty darn disadvantageous, depending on the character. Some characters have a really hard time pressuring this platform, so sometimes it can be good. But in general, being above and, away from the center stage like this, very disadvantageous. And Pikachu can certainly cover this. And, oh my gosh, up here in the air on Town and City, very disadvantageous. So you might just not understand the full, risk reward ratios for every positioning of every stage, and that's fine. But I urge you to start thinking about those sorts of things. In this case, go to ledge. If you are committing to giving Pikachu stage control, instead of doing like some sort of mix-up in center stage, go to ledge. Even set down a grenade, go to ledge, and then take the, jump, roll, neutral, get up, shield. 1/3 chance mix-up to, get back onto stage. This is very scary. One is just a really bad spot to be in. You double jump, you grenade. I think you maybe have one jump left. You hit yourself with a grenade, you're at like 143% on the opposite side of the stage in the same disadvantageous position. Probably wasn't worth it. You're still getting hit. So, personally, sometimes you can just like, when your opponent has invincibility, just run up to them, like roll behind them, run up, roll away from them. That's already a 50-50. And 50-50, and you probably won't get super hard punished for it. I mean, they can maybe like F smash behind them, but you haven't demonstrated that the entire set so far, so it would have been a fine mix-up. And he calls you for jumping again, right? Which he's been doing for like the past like 2 or 3 stocks. So always remember the adaptation you make. I know at some point you adapted to starting rolling in, and he hadn't committed to punishing it yet. So you should have stuck with that adaptation and not gone for the jump there. But it was a bad position to be in. It's not, again, don't want to make it seem like it's all your fault. It's easy to call out all the little things, right? But in reality, you were in a bad spot here. So I want you to think more about how did you get in this bad spot, and how can you avoid being in this bad spot in the future. And from here, it all started out. As soon as you spawned in, you went all the way up here. You took like 40%. You got hit by like 2 grenades. Went all the way to the other side of the stage. You need to focus more on taking stage control and pushing advantage. So I feel like I don't have to go over too many of the main takeaways, because I feel like they were hammered in throughout this set. Less grenade in general. Not that I don't want you to think it's not good, because it's very good. But you just have to be careful about where you're using it. And in general, it's, when your opponent's giving you ample space to use it, I usually would never really use it or Briggle Blaster when in the corner. You just don't have the space for it. It basically walls you off as much as it walls off your opponent. And so when your goal is to get to center stage, you don't want to put a wall between you and center stage. But, it has its niche uses too, in the corner. Like if you're off stage, you can cover the ledge with it, and it's moving towards your opponent, so, you get to move along with it to steal stage control. But that's the goal of it, right? The goal of grenade in corner should always be to steal stage back, because you're assuming your opponent is going to play smart around it. You should never throw it out in the hopes that your opponent's going to run into it, because they really have no reason to. You have to force your opponent, or at least play in a way that forces your opponent to lose interactions. So you should never just throw out things, give up stage control or whatever, in hopes that your opponent will just mess up. That's not how you win sets, and it's not how you, win in this game. So hope you'll, take that to heart and be really cognizant about your usage of your special moves like that. And in general, just more mindfulness and positioning and analysis of risk reward. It's not something that's incredibly intuitive, and it's something you kind of have to think about a lot outside of the game. And hope maybe going over this kind of helps you think about things in the way you should. Some scenarios are just really bad to be in some spots physically on the stage. So always keeping the main game plan on putting yourself in good positions and then capitalizing on those positions every time is the way to really start winning interactions and keeping yourself from losing a lot of interactions and disadvantage. It all stems from that. It all stems from that risk-reward understanding of where you are and where your opponent is. And it's different for every matchup too, so it's definitely not easy, but there are general things that you can work on for sure. And you definitely want to focus more on taking that center stage and keeping center stage. You'll notice that when you watch or play against really good players, that's what's always the worst, is that when you're on corner and no matter where you are and how much you fight to get in center stage, it always feels like they're an advantage, because they are so strong in their positioning that no matter where you go, they're always exactly where they need to be to punish you. So you can always watch good players, top level players, to really study positioning like that. But the first step is, of course, figuring it out yourself outside of the game, watching yourself and figuring out, hey, maybe I should stand here. Maybe this is where I can cover most options on reaction, depending on what my opponent does, and stuff like that. So yeah, so I hope you got something out of this. Hope it wasn't too long, and thanks. Hope you get a lot out of it.